So I'm so glad you guys can be here. Please don't hesitate to write your questions in the chat. I'm going to try to see the chat the whole time, but if at some point just interrupt me and say, hey, I'm lost, or can you say that again? It will be available on video, so you'll be able to see it later. That will help you a lot. I'm sure that we can do it that way. So I'm going to take us into Microsoft 365. So your screen looks something like this. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've done this okay. All right. So as you can see, this is basically just your typical screen. All right. And it allows you to, sorry, it's giving me this weird thing. Try scrolling and zooming. You can scroll and zoom the tab. Okay, why won't it let me do it now? Allow. Okay. Oh, there we go. I think it gets stuck. So first of all, let me just say that it's very difficult to do your edit without utilizing Word. I'm pretty sure 2 out of the 3 editors that we have chosen for the collaboration use Word, and the third one is familiar with Docs enough that you can use Google Docs, but none of them seem to use the sharing program. And so we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, but I just want to make sure that, that's why I asked you guys whether you were doing Google or you weren't doing Google. Are all of you familiar with uploading to your Microsoft Word? You know what I mean by that?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Send it from my phone.
So you'll notice here on your screen, there's an upload button on the right-hand side, right in the middle. And if you were working with, let's say you're working with Laurel. Laurel is very specific in how she wants things. So I write it in Word, then I download it, and then she uploads it on her end. She makes all the changes, she does all the editing, then she downloads it and sends it to me in an email. I get it, download it from the email to my computer, and then upload it back into my Microsoft Word. And that's how it's used. Does that make sense? So, all right, Patty, you have a question?
So I think it's I was having a hard time getting to the screen that you were at, so it's showing your screen, but I'm there now.
Okay. Oh, okay, cool. So the thing is when you make these saves, every one of the titles has to be a different, name. So if you look at mine here, I'm going to show you all of my arrow edits. You'll see that sometimes it says the date, like this one says 0608 LRP. That means that's Laurel's version. And then when I send it back to her, I have another date and I put my initials to send it back to her. And that's how we edited back and forth. And so you'll see there's multiple ones. So by the time you finish, you just have tons of them. And this one is actually my proofer. It says, she put on there, Arrows Proofer, which means that's the one that I proofed. And this was the date I approved it on. I approved it. That sounded funny. I proofed it on, which was March 26, 2024. And this is the C version because we went back and forth like 3 times all in the same day. Okay. So first you put your initials, then you put the date, then you put A, B, or C. If you're at the end and you're just trying to get those last few little things taken care of, you'll have multiples of alphabets on there. And so that's really how it all, you're going to go back and forth and back and forth. Well, I wanted to let you guys know a little bit about what the screen, like what you're going to get when you get something from Laurel or from your editor and what it looks like. So have any of you guys sent anything to an editor yet? Has anyone?
No.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to double click and open this right now. She says, but can she? Hold on just a minute. let me open it in here, and then maybe it'll let me have it over here. Let's see. I'm going to shut this, stop presenting, and go back and present again so I can see the one I want. All right. So once it gets here, it's thinking through it. All right, there it is. So when you get your chapter back, the first thing that's going to happen when you open it is it's going to say track changes enabled. Yes, you want that on. It will appear if your paper or if your chapter has been edited. So I'm going to click OK on that just because I need to make sure that I am being tracked during all of this. So let's see if it'll let me. Oh my goodness. This is those moments where it's like, I wanted you to see that, so I don't want it to not be there. Let me go back. All right. So let's go through the tabs first. I want each one of us to go through the tabs so everybody knows exactly what you're looking at. So let's start with home. Home is basically where you're going to do all your formatting for your typing. This is all of your text formatting. This is everything from making it bold and underlined, italicized. It's also, I'm making sure there's not somebody. It's also where you would tell it to be centered or however you want your margins to be. And so anything like that, if you're looking at double spacing, if you're looking at different things like that, all of that is found under the Home tab. The other thing that you're going to find under here is what's called Dictate. So if you look all the way over here to the right, you see my mouse.
No way.
Is Dictate. Yes. So you literally can dictate, and it's not going to be exactly precise.
Way.
Yes, but it's going to be pretty close. I do a lot.
Where is Dictate?
Huh?
Where is Dictate? I don't see it.
Dictate is on the right-hand side of the screen. See it right here? Right underneath the word comments. It's got a little microphone, and you click on the arrow, and it takes you down to Dictate. So if I click on that.
So cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can literally see it says dictate or transcribe.
Oh, I see it on yours, but I don't see it on mine. I have all the normal, the spacing, no space, heading, and then find. Okay.
And then the next one should be dictate.
But it's not. It's a sun, and it says add-ins.
Editor, and then add-ins and designer. I wonder if we might have to do a search on yours, Patty, to see if you're now. Are you doing it online? Are you doing it on your computer?
I paid for it. $300 to have Word installed on my computer.
Oh my gosh, girl.
Yeah, and that was up for 3 computers, and that was a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I just lost it today. I want my granddaughter to be typing, and I can't find my login number that I purchased.
So are you Microsoft 365?
Yeah.
Okay. But you paid $300 because you had 3 of them. Do you have to pay every year?
Yeah. Well, doesn't everybody?
Yeah, but I don't pay that kind of money. I pay $60 or 70.
Oh.
Yeah, I think $64.50 is what I paid this year.
And where did you get it? Well, I guess we'll talk about that later. Okay.
From
I think
Microsoft.
but I don't see any charges. They've never charged me again.
Okay. So maybe you paid a flat fee. But anyway, so if yours doesn't have Dictate, we'll have to find it.
Okay.
It just might not be turned on.
Okay.
So those are the things you're going to find in the first tab. Then the second tab is Insert. Now, I needed to use Insert, but most people don't. My book has pictures in it. And while the pictures are done in the layout process, I think in order for my editor to know where I wanted them, I inserted them there. If you have a table that has to go in your chapter, and when you're doing your book, Word will actually develop your table of contents, meaning it'll format a page for you at the very beginning of your book. And then you're just going to go in and fill in the blanks as you go. And then there's a section called header and footers. And those are the things that I wouldn't even mess with, because when they format your book is when they put the headers and the footers and the page numbers and all of that gets done, because you pick a particular style that goes through their software to put the headers and footers. So don't even worry about that. Don't worry about page numbers. When you use your scroll on the right hand side of the screen, it's going to tell you how many pages you have or what page number you're on. So you can do it that way. Even on the lower left hand corner, it will say this is page 1 of 16. All right, is what mine says right now. So then the next tab is layout, and we're really not even going to mess. Oh yeah, we are. Hang on. So layout is where you put in your margins and like the size of paper. But if you are just typing your book, there is no reason for you to do that. Margins will be changed, and the size of the paper will be changed by your editor when you do your final copy. So don't even worry about that for now.
So for our chapter, we don't need that for the
chapter, you don't need to, just 1-inch margins all the way around, double spaced.
Okay.
In like I used Times New Roman size 12 font. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's usually what most of them want it in Times New Roman, and they want it at 11 or 12 font. I do it at 12 font just because it's easier to see. You don't need the references tab, but you are going to need the review tab. And this is where we start getting into the editing process. Under the review tab are 2 places that you're going to want to know about. The first one is this show comments thing. Oh, actually, all the way over to the left, there's going to be one that says word count. Do you see word count? Word count is the first one you're going to want to know, because that's how you tell how many words you have in your thing. If you click on it and click on word count, it takes a moment,
Oh, wow.
and calculates it, and then it pops it up there. So I have 4,510 words. All right. And that's a good reminder as you're going through. I will tell you that Missy really appreciates it when we keep our chapters down to 10 pages or less. And so you're looking at about 3,000 to 4,000 words, just according to how it's, like if you have a lot of dialogue, you're going to have a lot less words in 10 pages. So that makes a difference. That's why we always have this huge discrepancy about how many words are in. I want to say it's 3,500 to 4,000 are in 10 pages. I had one chapter that's bigger than that, but it's broken up into several sub chapters. So that was fine. The second thing you want to focus on is the show comments. You'll notice it's highlighted because my paper has been edited, and that means there are comments. So it's very important that you see that. The last one is under this thing called markup view. Now in markup view, you have 2 ways of seeing it. And all markup means that you are looking at every single edit that's been done, plus things you've taken out, plus plus comments. Now you can change that by clicking on the down arrow and clicking to simple markup. And what it does is it gets rid of all the places where you have taken things in and out. Let me go back to regular markup so you can see. So all markup here, I've written. The other thing that's different is when you type, after your editor has done it, yours will type in blue. And then when she types, it types in red. See how it's red up here where she marked out the word and?
Yeah.
So that's how you kind of tell the difference. Now, down here, you see I have all these lines where I've deleted these chapters. And in all markup, you see that. But in simple markup, it goes away. So you can read it continuously and not have that interruption. Does that make sense?
Yes.
everybody understand where I'm coming from? All right.
Yes.
So, you know, you need that simple markup and all markup, because there might be a time when you've deleted a whole paragraph and you're like, you know what? I really need that sentence. And so you'll go back and you'll highlight it and copy it and paste it someplace else, and you'll have to tell it to unmark it. Okay. So then the last tab that we're going to look at is view. And view has a couple different things. On the left-hand side, right now, you'll notice it says separate pages. That's what you're looking at, is the view for separate pages. The next one is reading view. And reading view, as you see, it's going to take a second here for it to all come up. It changes the whole look. It leaves this column, which is your comments column, but it puts it all over here on the left so you can jump in and out of different pages and see, like, it's highlighted here because there was a comment that said that she needed there to be a better transition. Well, then I wrote a new paragraph. This is the new paragraph that I wrote, and I asked her whether it works. So you can go through this way, you can get through your pages faster if you're looking for something in particular. And then to get out of this, you're just going to click edit document, and it's going to take you right back to what it was we were looking at.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I did. I clicked the read button that was all the way over, and now now I can't get out of it. That's what I've got.
The reading view?
When I clicked the reading view, it took my toolbar away.
Right. Over to the right, though, there should be a button that says edit.
No, I've got these designs here. You know, the small.
One of them's, well, because you're on a, what do you call it? You're on a tablet, right? Or your phone?
This is my computer.
Okay, on your computer, there should be, do you see a thing that it's one of those icons is actually an edit icon. Those little icons at the top.
It says auto hide reading toolbar. So, but I clicked on it and then it just still didn't come back.
Here, show it to me again.
Okay, hold on a second.
Is there a back button? Sometimes there's a big arrow to the left.
Okay. Yep. See that?
Did it take you back?
Yeah, but it it doesn't help me anymore.
Oh, okay. So, honey, you've got a you got to turn off your background on your phone, because I can't really see your screen.
Righto.
You've got that fake background.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So the green screen is
too much light coming behind my head. Now, how do I do that? Oh, I'm sorry.
Where you get to see where it says where the camera is at the bottom, and there's a little arrow. You have to go into your settings to do that.
Okay.
Are you in your settings?
Uh-huh.
And then in settings.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, ladies. We'll be right back.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. Actually, it's the other button. It's the one that says apply. It's the little person in a picture next to the settings. And you have to tell it to take off the background.
I don't see the little person.
Oh, so, okay. Well, if you go into settings, do you see where it says open effects?
Show captions, settings, noise cancellation, don't show video reporter problem, live captions, English, show reactions.
So on the right-hand side, you don't have video enhancement has moved to effects?
No.
Or open effects? Okay. Well, maybe you and I'll have to work together later to get you undone. Does that make sense? All right.
Okay.
So, let me close that out. Okay. So, I'm going to take it back to edit mode by clicking on edit. And then the other viewing that it has on there that's kind of a unique one under view is immersive reading. And this is where it will actually read to you. your chapter. And I would
Oh,
recommend
wow.
to everybody that you listen to your chapter. So I'm going to click this on, and you'll notice it gets really big and it's kind of funky looking. But down here at the bottom is a green play button. So if I go and I press that
I
button,
don't see it.
My head was in a fog as we approached the door.
okay, so
That's
you don't
so
see the green
cool.
button.
Okay, was that in view? Excuse me.
That's in immersive reading.
Okay,
Immersive
So in
reading.
view, you had the first one, then the second reading, and the third one says immersive. And immersive reader is the one that allows
Got
you
it.
to listen to it being read to you.
okay,
And then you're
Okay,
just
so-
going to click on that arrow to take
Yep.
you back to the original editing.
the arrow. Where's on? Okay, I don't
top
see an
left.
arrow on mine, and I don't see an arrow on yours.
Oh, here, hang on. I'll take it back to you.
Separate
Immersive
page.
reading.
Okay.
And I
Over
only
here
have.
on the far left side.
Okay, yep. Yes, we'll have to work on that.
Okay,
Because
somebody else
mine
is
only
struggling?
has, I didn't have any readings but the immersive reading.
Oh, okay. Did somebody else have a question? Everybody else is good. Okay. So I'm going to take it back. And now we're going to go and we're going to start looking at what things look like for editing. So I'm going to leave it in all markup. And we're going to scroll down here. So you can see as she marked things out, that's in red. If I didn't like what she marked out, I can right mouse click on it and I can tell it to reject the replacement. So that's
Oh.
how you would reject what they gave you. And then what I would suggest doing is doing a comment over here. So when you highlight something, it automatically brings up this window when your mouse is on it. Come on. Well, it was there. Stop it. When you highlight, see this window comes up. And down here at the right, it says new comment. So anytime you have a question about something they did, you can put a comment there. I will remind you, though, the best way to deal with your editor the first time when you first get your chapter back is to have a phone conversation. In some cases, I've used Zoom so that Laurel and I are speaking the same language. And a lot of the problem was me because, like I said, I'm dyslexic and my dyslexia has to do with interpretation. So a lot of times what I think I've written is actually not understandable by somebody else. Does that make sense? And she would tell me sometimes 3 different ways before I'd finally go, oh, I get what you're saying. But she's gotten really good about being my voice. AB, you have a question?
Yeah. How comfortable are you rejecting her suggestions? Like there's a couple of sentences. She just sent me my chapter today, and I just opened it up this afternoon, and so I'm wondering how comfortable we would be, like if there's a sentence where you're like, I really want to keep the sentence, but she's saying that it's repetitive. Like, what would you go with?
So here's my thing. I learned from Missy. Laurel was Missy's editor, and sometimes she just wants to know why you're repeating it. So if the purpose of that repetition is because you want somebody to carry, this is a theme that you're carrying through your book, then you need to state that. And you know what? It is amazing how many times that when you start having that conversation with your editor that you want something, that it brings something better out in you. Does that make sense? Because they don't know you and they're reading it as if they don't know you. Does that make sense? And
Yeah,
that
that
means
makes
your
sense.
reader who doesn't know you is going to have the same question mark. So
Okay.
then having that, and I'm perfectly comfortable. I mean, Laurel knows there's a couple places in my book where I was like, but this has to be in here. And she goes, well, explain to me why it has to be in here. And I'm like, remember back in chapter 2, blah, 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 blah. And she goes, yeah. I go, okay. I put it in here because I said in chapter 2, we will discuss this later. And here we are, kind of thing. And she would go, oh, okay. She goes, let's go back to chapter 2. And we'd go back to chapter 2 and I'd show her where it said that. And she would go, hang on. And she would read down a little farther than what I read. And then she'd go, okay, let's go back to chapter 6. And we would go and we look at it. And she goes, all right, okay, I see what you want to do, but do you realize you're going to have to remind them of this? And it made so much, I had to think harder. And I think sometimes we don't want to think harder. We think we've put it all out there. It's our baby. Please don't mess with it. But Sacred Cows Make the Best Hamburger. Great book, by the way. So
Awesome.
remember that your sacred cow,
Mhm.
sometimes you have to butcher some of it. And so what's great about the editor, thank you, AB, for the heart. Because I think we forget that we pay money for this person to make us look and sound better. And if they're not letting us, like at one point I had to say to Laurel, I feel like it's not my voice. She goes, all right, so now that I wrote it in my voice, how would you say it? And that's what I mean by sometimes you have to meet with them on Zoom and pay the extra money to have that conversation with them, because they're going to help get the best out of you. And so that's my 2 cents on Laurel. I love Laurel, but she's very black and white. And in some cases, that's great. But like it took me 5 tries to finally explain to her what a baby sling was, because she's never had a child. But I needed her to read the book and be my editor because she's never had a child. Because the people who are going to read my book have never had a child sometimes. So, yeah. But then once she got it, she's like, oh, this makes so much sense. And I'm just not, So sometimes I opened her eyes. So you just have to work on that. All right. So let's go back to this. So, of course, Grammarly is running in the background when you use Microsoft Word. So you're going to end up with these dotted lines like this. And it's telling you, I said I repeated again. And it's telling me you just need to say repeated. Well, my editor said I could say repeated again. She didn't make a change on that. So don't trust everything Grammarly says, but don't hesitate to look at it. Grammarly wants me to make this a little p, but I'm trying to make it sound louder. Sorry, I got 2 teeth today, so having a hard time talking. So to make it sound louder, I made it a capital. So then we scroll down here and whoops. This is where she put a note in here that said, we need a better transition. Well, what happened was I went from this into basically how to be a performer. And she goes, that's not what your story's about. And so after much discussion, she told me that the beginning is a very emotional experience and everybody else needs to be taken on this emotional roller coaster with you. They don't need to know anything about being a performer. So all of this highlight is because Laurel put this note in here. And I answered her by clicking on this reply and wrote, does this work? Now she'll know, she'll go down to her notes, because they don't read the whole chapter every time you send them your book. They're going to work on the tough parts. And then in the end, they're going to read the whole thing for flow. So just be aware of that. So when I'm not clicked on this, it will show up gray on your document. See how it's gray? But then the minute I put my mouse on it, it turns it pink and it highlights the comments over here.
Oh, shoot.
You okay?
I just switched it somehow to me.
Oh, click on me.
There we go.
Okay.
There you go.
So the other thing is, see this button here that says comments? If you don't like that it's all, that it's just where it happens, I like to see it where it's happening. But if you click the comments button, it actually is going to put all the comments to the right. So if all you want to do, so like after your first edit where you've gone through everything, you can just scroll through these comments and click on that, and it's going to take you to the section where you have to redo. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes it. I hear AV going, yay! Right? Because you're like, I can't figure out all these comments. So if I click on this one made me laugh because she says, I don't understand what you mean by this. Well, the sentence is, there was little time to sit and relax as all of our dance cards were full. She doesn't know what a dance card is. Do you guys know what a dance card is?
Of course.
Well, but notice it, Patty, it's you and me that know what a dance card is.
I know. I'm just
Okay,
like
so-
hanging Chad.
Right, exactly. Right. So this is that moment where I'm like, but the word is so apropos, right?
Yes, it is.
But I can't use that because younger generations don't know what a dance card is.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, way back when we went to prom, you had this thing that hung from your wrist, and the boys would come and write their name, and you danced with them in
Oh,
order.
how fun.
Dance card.
Oh, that's great. That's
It was
so
a great
cute.
way
I
to do
love
it.
it.
Right. And they don't do that anymore. So nobody knows what that is. And it's funny because Laurel's only about 10 years younger than me, but I guess it really did transition at that point. So, because I think my class was probably the last class from my high school to have a dance card. So that was just really funny. So it's nice to have all these comments come up like this, if you're somebody who's just working through those comments. But if you want to look at all the other edits, it's better to just leave it turned off and look at them as you're going through it. So this was Laurel's first edit with me after me turning in my chapter. And so I ended up doing a whole big rewrite, as you heard me say. So I'm going to scroll back up here. So notice all these lines. This is me, because it's in blue. This is me canceling out all of these paragraphs. Now, you can't get rid of these. You have to leave them in here because things might change along the way where your editor goes, you remember when you said blah, blah, blah? And unfortunately, that means that she's thinking, we're going to go back and get that. Okay. So you want to make sure that you leave that, and you've told it that you're tracking the changes, right? So you want to make sure you're still tracking the changes. Now, I started entering new information, and I want to talk a little bit about this because it's very hard sometimes when you're doing a rewrite and so much of it's being replaced. What I ended up doing was going into Word and typing a whole new chapter. Like I basically took the beginning that I knew was good and left it, and then started with the paragraph that I knew I'd have to make all these changes. And I just wrote, again, vomited on the page, and went through and deleted things, and then I copy and pasted. And the way you do that is, let me open the other one. And the way I did that, now let me see if I can make this do this here. Let's see. I'm going to stop presenting for a second because I'm going to have to open 2 documents at once. And the way you do this is, does everybody know that if you put your mouse on the tab that has the title of what it is you want to have, and you pull it, it becomes a separate, goodness gracious, that was quite the lightning. Sorry, it becomes a separate page. So then I can have 2 pages side by side.
I did not know that.
Yes. So let me see if I can get it to do this while I'm on here. I don't know if it's going to let me. Can I just see my screen? Oh, window, entire screen. Here we go. Yes. Share. All right. So now, let's see. Dismiss. So now I have, oh my goodness. Let me make this big. There we go. Oh,
Whoa, that's
Nice.
cool.
wow. I didn't even know I could do that. Okay, stop presenting for a second.
Yep.
Let's go back to that thought. let me do this one and this one. Where'd it go? Why is it doing that? We're going to give it our best shot here. Try it one more time. Let me see if I can window. Let me. All right. So how can I make this work? Let me do that. Okay. So you're seeing where oops. Okay. So it closed. All right. So maybe I can do this. I'm going to put that up. Can you guys see? Oh, nope. It does. Hang on. It's funny how you can do some things in some places and other things in other places. So let's see if it'll let me do. It's not going to let me. Oh, I'm so sorry. All right. So what it does is it allows me to have this one side of the screen is going to be the chapter that is my edited chapter, and the other one is going to be what my editor sent me. And I'm just copying those paragraphs and then pasting them in. And that's why they're blue, is because they're new. And I put that information in there. And so as I do that, I'm copying and pasting back and forth. Let me open that back up so I have it to work with. Oh, no, that's not it. I want this one. Give me a rope. Okay. So I'm very big on making sure that, let me see what this says. Okay. I'm just making sure of what you're looking at, and it keeps making noises. All right. So at this point, for instance, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to input it because I'm going to go down here and see how far I got. Notice I went back to what was some of my original writing. I deleted some more, back to my original writing. I added a few extra words. And then I'm adding like a whole other paragraph coming up here. But as you can tell, this is really what it looks like. Where she says, I don't understand what you mean. I'm going to type, let's see, there was little time to sit and relax as all of our dance cards were full. As, I'm going to highlight it and press delete. That's going to put a line through it. And then I'm going to put, there was little time to sit and relax as, we, as the dancers, had a partner. I don't know. There was little time to sit and relax as.
You were in high demand for dances.
There we go. Thank you. We were, let's see, the dancers, and that put us in high demand. Okay. So now, as you can tell, it's all purple because it's attached to this comment. So I'm going to put in here. Is this better? All right. And I'm going to press the blue button, and that's going to tell her, that's going to put that comment into her. Now, see this little thumb?
Uh-huh.
Okay. What's great is if you agree with them, you can just click that thumb. You don't have to type something. You don't have to do agree, agree, agree. You can just click that thumb. And I just taught Laurel that. She's so funny because she goes, you didn't answer anything. I said, I did. I clicked on the thumbs up. That meant I'm good. And she goes, the thumbs up. And so I took her to Zoom and she looked at it and she goes, well, why didn't anybody else ever do that? So it was really fun. Patty, you got a question?
So when you were saying you were copying it, were you doing the Control Alt C?
You just have to do Control C.
Control C. I didn't mean
And then
Alt. Yeah, Control C. And
then
so you were
copy.
just copying and pasting.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And that's what I did. I just pasted it in.
Okay. In a new document that was side by side instead of clicking back
Right.
and
So I
forth.
have them like this. Then I can just go back and forth.
Right. And
Okay?
that's one of the things
So
I had at one time learned how to do, and I don't know how to do. So
well, we'll have to work on that.
another thing.
So, all right. So as you can see, that's pretty much what I was going to cover today. Are there any questions? Does everybody feel like they understand how they can do all the different things just to do your editing?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's very
Yeah.
helpful. Thank you so much.
It
AP?
does. Thank you.
Okay. Shelley?
I'm in process.
Okay.
I'm just gonna,
That's
I'll just have
fine.
to wait until I actually start doing it, and
Oh,
then I'll probably have questions.
And that is fine.
Now,
You
do we have to save everything as we go as
so
far
that's where I'm
as,
going next. Okay.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do. So
For compilation.
Microsoft
I have
actually,
the pinnacle of my life.
somebody's talking.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I hit the button. It wasn't that
Yay!
cool. Yeah.
One of the things is if you are using Microsoft, it does save it as you go along. But the
Okay.
thing is I still, I don't trust Microsoft like I trust Google. Google doesn't have a save button. And so it's really good to save anyway. So we're going to talk real quick about saving to send to your editor. Okay. So when you are saving, you're going to go to File, and this is where you're going to save. And to send to your editor, you're going to want to keep it in a Word document. So you're going to click on Save As. You're going to tell it to download a copy to your computer. Now,
But isn't it already in your computer?
no, actually, so that's a good question. How many of you use Microsoft Online, which is where I do it? 365 is a program that's online. So I use it through the internet. If you use it on your computer, then it's already on your computer. Patty and I dealt with that earlier today.
Got it.
But if you're using, like if you're going to it's called office.com. If you're going there, that's one thing. You see what I'm saying? If you're going to office.com and you're signing into 365, then you're doing it online. It's not on your computer. It's saving in the OneCloud. Okay.
Okay.
So you have to save it onto your computer so that you can use it. I mean, so that you can email it. So you're going to do File, Save As, download a copy. Now, when it does that, it's going to ask you, planning to share this document? Instead of downloading a copy, try to email a link. Your editors do not want a link. They want the actual copy. So you have to download a copy. Now, I don't know if this is going to make me where's it going? Oh, okay. So mine, when it downloads, it shows up as a little thing over. Let's see what you can see here. So let me go back. Present something else. I want to go to so what it looks like then when you go to share it, it pops up like this. And you click download and it will download. And see how it makes a little thing for me right here on the right hand side. That's telling me that it is in my screen. So now I'm going to open this. Hang on, I'm going to take it so that you guys can see it. I got so many things open. Let's see. So now in my drive, I'm able to see under downloads, here's my article. Let's see. Trying to make sure you see it. So here's what I wrote right here.
Oh,
And now I can go to my email, my Gmail, and then attach it as a file to send to my editor. Does that make sense? Does
Yes.
anybody have questions? You can also, I was teaching Patty that you can drag it into a thumb drive if you have a thumb drive on your computer. Let's say you're going to go print it somewhere, okay? You can grab it and drag it into your E drive. Once you've stuck your thumb drive in, it becomes the E drive, and that gives you that to take with you. So you can take it to go print. All right? Are there any questions?
to use that little thumbnail thing, is that how you drive it?
The
A
thumb
little
drive,
thumbtack?
hang on, let me have it
Mhm.
checked.
Here's one.
Do you have one?
This is what I am putting it on as a backup from
That's a
my what
flash
I have
drive,
on my
right?
computer. So I'm backing everything up.
Called a thumb drive. A flash drive, a lot of times, yeah,
Is
some people call them flash drives, but this is what I call a flash drive.
Oh,
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
because this is what you use on a camera. Some people call it a camera
Okay.
stick. Some people call it a stick. Some people call this a stick, and I'm like, that's not a stick. This is a this is a thumb drive. Most people call these a thumb drive.
Okay.
And so you can save it on either one. Both of them
Okay.
are good. So whichever one works for you. I usually save bigger things on this. Like this has video and pictures and that kind of stuff on it. This is mainly documents. And I have like my whole book on here. So because I printed the whole thing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
At one time to edit it. So my 200 page book cost about $20 at UPS to have it printed. And
Oh, wow.
yeah. And so I went
That's
and I printed it so I
inexpensive.
could go through it. Huh?
That's really inexpensive.
It really is. I mean, because it would cost me a lot more in ink. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's nice to see it on paper sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
Those of us who are old school, we like that touchy-feely, get out my red marker, It's like,
Highlighter, pen, all of it.
oh, I
Love
even
that.
cut it and like stuck it on windows and yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So whatever it takes
Mhm.
to work and to help you organize. So, well, ladies,
Okay.
we are at the end of our time. It's probably going to kick off on us. Thank you so much. And please don't hesitate to send me questions.
Oh, really? Can I? Seriously? Because I will.
That's what I'm here for. Patty, you got a question? She's
I just
already
want to
great.
thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Double that. Thank you.
Yes,
Yes, thank you so much, Tammy.
Well, I love you
Thank
guys.
you.
You guys have
Okay.
a
Love you.
take care.
Talk to
Thank
you
you.
later.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
night. Thanks so much.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All of you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay.